We're gonna talk about finding the deals. And when it comes to finding the deals, I want you to boil everything down, this whole business down, into two components. And that is marketing and sales. And this is just the most important framework. So on marketing side, here are the top 5 things you have to know. Here's the top 5 things that you're gonna focus all your energy and attention on. And on the sales side, here's the top 7. Without these 7 things, without these 5 things, without you having a clear answer and plan for these, you're dead in the water. So I'm gonna go over a broad overview now, and then in the videos, we're gonna go very detailed. So let's jump into it. All right. When it comes to marketing, the number one thing in this real estate wholesale business are your lists. Your lists are your money makers. Why? Let's back up for a second. What is wholesale? Wholesaling real estate is finding a distressed property, selling it to an investor, right? Now, you can't sell to an investor if you don't have a distressed property. Where do you find distressed properties? Usually comes with a motivated seller. Why is someone motivated? There's something going on in their life, right? They got divorced, it's a probate, inherited house, absentee owner, they're downsizing, they're relocating, etc. You can buy all those lists. And I'm gonna show you videos like screen record of me doing it. I got to do. But you have to understand what the lists are and why you buy them. So, lists are really key. There's a ton of websites to buy them. I'm gonna show you two of the top websites we use. And just understand there's many lists, right? I named a few. It depends on what you wanna do. That leads me to number 2. What channel are you going to use these lists for? Are you going to cold call? Are you going to send mail? Are you going to do RVM drops? Are you going to do door knocking, etc., etc.? What channel are you going to use these lists for? Really important. So now you got that. How frequent? So remember, these are the key points, guys. When you think of wholesale, just write down marketing and sales. When you write down marketing, write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you write down sales, 1, 2, 3, 7. And then you write these things. How frequent? So, depending on what marketing channel you use, you're gonna see how frequent you have to change the list, how frequent you gotta send your marketing. You know what I'm saying? So, what do I mean by that? Okay, when you do mail, or when you buy a list, you're gonna send mail. For instance, a pre-foreclosure list, you have to change every month. Why? Because some people in pre-foreclosures get foreclosed on the next month, right? So, let's say you bought a list from 2 months ago, pre-foreclosure, maybe the next month, one of these houses got pre-foreclosed, so you change the list. So, what I'm getting at is, frequency depends on these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't mean that this is in this order. This is just the order that I think of importance. Doesn't mean that budget's not first, doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying? So, just bear with me, these are the principles, guys, and this is key. This is for you to understand. Tracking. Once you got the list, what channel, how frequent, how are you going to track this? And the way you're going to do it is a spreadsheet. And I already gave you a spreadsheet of how we track our stuff every quarter, every week. Use it, make your own. I don't care, but use that one for now. Tracking is really key. What are we tracking? We're tracking how many people on our list. How many pieces of marketing are we sending? How many phone calls, etc. What is the return rate? How often are we changing our list? We're tracking the metrics. We're tracking the numbers that leads our business forward. Leads our business forward. If you don't track it, if you don't track your list, what channel, if you don't track how frequent things are going out, if you don't track this stuff, how are you going to get better? Last but not least, budget and management. So in the first spreadsheet that I gave you last week, there is a budget that you can set based on the income you want to make. You want to make $200,000 this year? Cool, your marketing budget. If you want to do $200,000 this year and you want to do 80% cold call, 20% mail, cool, your budget's going to be $900 a week, whatever it is, I'm not sure, but you should have this answer already. Now, the second part to that is the management of the budget. This is on you, okay? How do you do that? Another spreadsheet, or the same spreadsheet, or you look at your credit card statements every week, every month, etc. You have to manage that your budget is being spent accordingly on this stuff. Okay? So these are the 7 things. Sales is a whole different animal, but I love this animal, right? If you get good at sales, a lot of this stuff becomes easy. So, number 1, being prepared for calls. Right? So there's a saying, I don't remember from who said it, but it's the battle is won before the battlefield. Meaning, the person who's most prepared for the call, most prepared for this lead to come in, is usually going to win. So, for example, let's say you have wholesaler A, he's just winging it. And let's say you got our team, and we're prepared. Who do you think wins? If we have our script in front of us, if we've done training, if we know what happens to this lead, if we know how to set appointments correctly, and wholesaler A is kind of just sending marketing, who do you think is going to win? Exactly. So be prepared. Scripts. Okay. The best salesmen use scripts all the time. Why? Because scripts are not just the words that are put on there. It's the format. It's what you need to guide the conversation to. So what I always tell people, and what I do myself and our team does it, you gotta have the scripts in front of you all the time. If you're gonna be the lead manager taking calls, you gotta have the script in front of you on another screen, something. You always gotta be reading that script all the time, okay? Read the script, have it in front of you all the time. I can't stress that enough, for real. All right, lead flow. So part of the sales process is what happens to the lead. The reason this is important is because when you get the lead and they say, yes, I want to sell, you have to be prepared and you have to know what happens next. Okay, they want to sell, cool, set appointment. Awesome, how do I do that? I have my script. Cool, once I set the appointment, then I gotta go on the appointment. Now I got another script. Now once I get the appointment, I gotta get a contract. Once I get the contract, what happens? There's a lead flow. And yes, I put this into sales because to get from call to appointment is a sale. To get from appointment to contract is a sale. To get from contract to B2C buyer, sale. To get B2C buyer to closing, sale. If you don't know your lead flow, how are you gonna sell people on your flow, okay? It sounds complex, but it's not, trust me. I'm gonna give you this, by the way, a map of what we use. But since you're gonna do it all, I encourage you to tweak it, do whatever it takes for it to be whatever you want, all right? Converting. This is kind of like I just spoke about right now. When you get a call, to make a call to an appointment, that's a conversion. I said sale, but let's call it conversion, right? Then you gotta convert the lead to a deal to a contract, and contract to sale, sale to closing, etc. So conversion is big. And that's kind of like the mantra, ABC, always be closing. Always be closing is converting. Always be converting. Maybe we'll make that my little mantra. Follow up. 70% of sales are done from the 7th to the 10th touch. Meaning, you have to follow up with a prospect 7 to 10 times. Call, text, email, voicemail, another piece of mail, a letter, whatever. 7 to 10 times, 70% of sales are done that way. 70% are done that way. Do you think this is important? Yes. If you don't do this, you will lose in the long run. If you don't follow up, you're always depending on the newest deal, which costs money. But follow up, you already paid for that lead. So you have to have this process clear. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to give you a follow-up guideline what we use. Tracking. So notice, tracking here, tracking here. Why do you think I did that? Why do you think I did that? Because whatever you don't track and measure doesn't grow. Okay, so if you don't track how many leads you got in, how many leads became appointments, how many appointments became held appointments, how many held appointments became contracts, how many contracts became sales, how many sales became closings. If you don't track those metrics, maybe rewind this and listen to that again. If you don't track that, you will never have a business. And you will just be a floating fish. And number 7, ongoing training. Let me ask you something. Do you think Steph Curry only practices his shots once a week, once a month? Do you think Steph Curry only practices dribbling once a month? No. He is ongoing training. He's at the gym 4, 5, 6 days a week. So to be a good salesman, what do you think you have to do? How often do you think you have to train? I say at a bare minimum 3 times a week. But if you want to be exceptional, you gotta practice every day. Every day, no excuses. Our team, we have a daily huddle every day, and we have a sales meeting once a week with me, and we have a team meeting that we talk about all this stuff. So videos, everything. So we're always training. Now, this part is kind of up to you. You can watch the videos that we're gonna have in this course about sales and trainings, but I would encourage you, watch Grant Cardone videos, role play with a partner, with a spouse. Always be in the loop of sales. Always be training that muscle. And here's the good news. If you get good at this ongoing training stuff, that means you're gonna get good at all this. And if you're good at all this, you're always gonna have an amazing income, an amazing job, because sales is everything.